Other countries that are producing crude oil are smiling to the back. We are bleeding. We're subsidizing fuel with all manners of resources. It got to a point, the amount we were making from crude was not enough. We started using the taxes to subsidize. It was not enough. We used future production to subsidize. If that subsidy had not been removed, I do not see Nigeria surviving another 1 year. What would have happened would have been you got to a point where you have no resources at all to bring in refined products because you already sold your future production to subsidize today. You will hold your money and you will not find fuel to buy. That's an example of what happened in Sri Lanka. The country was going to collapse. And the third pillar is economic growth facilitation. How can we remove the impediments that come in the way of our people thriving, making prosperity? And so on that basis, we also agree on the national philosophy around taxes. And Mr. President was very clear about this. We will not tax capital. We will not tax investment. We do not want to tax production. Of course, we don't want to tax poverty. No country has become wealthy by taxing poverty. We do not want to tax seed. We'll wait, invest with you, create the right environment, and tax the fruits when they are ready. And I think that's the right thing for us to do for our country. What outcomes do we expect? I call this the Nigeria we want. And the Nigeria we want is a Nigeria where economic reforms are people-centered. When they come with pains, we must react very quickly and show empathy to our people. Subsidy removal, exchange rate flotation, and fiscal policy reforms. As much as possible, we must reduce the pain. The economic challenges remain. Inflation is still high. Interest rate is high. And we have negative real returns. Multidimensional poverty has increased, in my view. Do the calculation, it will be more than 133 million today. But there is good news. It's not all gloomy. These policies are beginning to show the right signs. Some economic indicators are beginning to move in the right direction. For example, Nigeria now records a trade surplus. In other words, our exports is now more than our imports. Just imagine sustaining that. Your currency will stabilize and you have more investment. We also have government revenue, first time in over 5 years. Government revenue in the first 9 months of this year is on track. It's almost sounding like a miracle, almost like too good to be true. We're already at over 100% of the target as at the end of September. That's good news. Budget deficit as a percentage of GDP is down from over 6% to just a little under 4%. That's significant progress in just 1 year. And what that means also is when your revenue is on track, you're resorting to ways and means where the CBN is printing money for us to spend, which is fueling inflation and putting more people into poverty, would stop. We pumped over 20 trillion naira into the economy, ways and means, and we are surprised that there's inflation. It's not rocket science. It just adds up. It's a natural law, actually, beyond economics. But we also need to improve our governance. Governance expectation is we need better accountability. We need efficient government. We need people-oriented agenda. And I believe that that's the center of the conversation at this conference. So even at our committee, we'll be looking forward to the communique and the input from this conference, and we promise you we'll do our best to take those conversations forward. The outcomes we expect include stable and predictable economic environments, including an exchange rate regime where there's convergence, not two markets that is creating confusion and distortion for everyone. Sustainable growth and economic diversification where you don't rely. If you look at the export reports, manufactured goods is number one thing we import, over 40%. The manufactured goods we export, less than 2%. Our number one export in terms of proceed is crude oil. Our number one import, apart from aggregate manufactured good, is also refined product. Why are we not refining? Why don't we get to a point where the entire 1.78 million barrels per day we are planning to produce is all refined? And rather than exporting crude, we export refined product. Just imagine the impact that will have, the jobs we will create, the other value chain that will be inspired as a result of that. And these things are possible. Tax harmonization. Why is it that we have over 60 different taxes and levies? Officially, unofficially, nobody knows the number, but we know it's more than 200. More than 200 different levies and taxes in Nigeria, one country. Yet, all the taxes we collect from these legal and illegal taxes is not even up to what South Africa collects from only one tax, personal income tax. Personal income tax alone last year, South Africa collected more than 26 trillion naira equivalent. All the taxes collected in Nigeria, local government 774, 36 states, FCT, custom, FRS, is not even up to 16 trillion. Why are we doing this to ourselves? If you have seen the report from all local governments in Nigeria, all local government last year, they did not even collect 50 billion naira. They collected 48 point something billion naira. How is it possible? That's what one local government should collect in FCT. Of course, they are collecting the money. It's not going to the government. The more you allow that to continue, the more chaos you create because you are feeding your monsters. There are people who have resources more than a local government. They don't mean well for the country. That's why they can buy anything and buy their way to the detriment of society. It's our responsibility to fix that. We must optimize revenue. Our target at the Presidential Committee is limit all these taxes to a single digit. All taxes, local government, state and federal combined should not be more than a single digit. And we'll make that happen and God will help us.